So now we are going to learn about the data frame. Data frame is very important data structures in R. So data frame is used for storing the data tables. And we can see the tabular-like structure into the data frame. Whenever we work with the data frame, there we can work with the heterogeneous data. It means we can work with a different type of data. The data could be the integer, the character, or the Boolean type as well. So there simply we have to write data.frame, and inside that we can pass on to the any kind of data. Let's see how to make the very simple data frames now. Here, suppose here I'm just making simple vector here. And here I'm just making another vector with the same number of elements. So here simply I can pass it into the data frame here. Okay. Suppose here I'm just passing here into the test data. Okay. So test data means it could be any variable data. Data.frame here. This one is object already. Okay. Data.frame here. And inside it you have to pass the data here. Simple way. In this way. And if you want to see the test data is a variable. It is created now. So it has shown here. So the data frame is showing it into the form of table-like structure now. See here, X, Y, it is just showing all the elements of this one. And you had passed the X and Y into the data.frame. So you are looking just like for the table-like structure of the data here. You can see this structure now, this one. Okay, table-like structure. So let's see more here. If I want to see test data $x. So see here, X is one of the column, one of the variable inside the test data frame. So here $, with the help of $, I can take out one variable. So here if I want to see only the X, so here the data frame name and the variable name I can give it here. Suppose here I'm just writing test data $y. So here it is showing it. So basically, whenever you want to see, means now I see this X and Y are becoming the variables now. Okay. So X and Y are becoming the variables now here into the data frame. Right. And if you want to see only particular variable data, so here you have to give the data frame name test data $x. So $x. Okay. So this will give you only one variable data here. So suppose this one is there, test data, I'm just again making it here, test data, $, and then variable name. So if you write this with $, it will show you only X data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Suppose you want to see the another one. So for that you have to write test data $y. So if you write it $y here, okay. So the name of the data frame $y you have to give it here. So once you are writing it here, so see here I had just written test data $y. So you can see 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. This one is the second variable, Y variable related data. Okay. So whenever you want to see any particular variable here, variable or the column names here, so what you can do it here, data frame name $, and then the variable name you have to give. Variable name means column names here. So that will show you one data, right? Suppose here I'm just giving data 1. Data 1 is any variable here I'm taking. Okay, and here I'm just giving here, I'm making a vector here. India, Russia, South Korea. Suppose this is any data here I'm taking. This is a one vector. I'm taking a second vector as well here. Here I am taking the other one. New Delhi. Moscow. Any other third value, just here I'm taking FFF, any value you can take it here, okay? Or suppose here I'm just taking here any other name here. Earth here I'm just taking, okay, any other name. Now if I want to make it a data frame, so here I'm just giving data 3, okay, and I'm just putting this data 3 with the data dot frame. Data dot frame, and inside it I have to give data 1 comma data 2 because data 2 has been already created, so it is there. So 3 data I had given here. Now I want to see data 3, so it is showing you the 2 variables here. See this one. So these are the datas now. Data 1, data 2. Okay. Now if I want to see only data 1, India, Russia, Korea, only this column I want to see. So I have to give here. I have to give data 3 dollar, and here I have to choose any one, data 1. So here it is showing you India, Russia, South Korea, and here if I want to see data 3 dollar, data 2. Okay, so here it is showing you New Delhi, Moscow, and Perth. So with the dollar sign, you can just specify only one column name here. So it will start coming there. Okay, so you can practice this one. Now one can see here, we had created certain more vectors and passed all this vector into the data frame. So one can see here, vector 1, vector 2, vector 3, 3 vectors are there, and we are passing all these vectors into the data frame, data.frame. Okay, we can pass it here and final data is there. If I take it entirely and here I'm just running it here, see here it is just showing vector 1, vector 2, vector 3. Now if you want to see only a particular one, how you can see? Final data dollar vector 1. So it is showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means it is showing the detail of vector 1, this one. If I want to see a final data here, and I want to see it here, vector 2, A, B, C, D, E, it is showing. Means that the details of the vector 2 it is showing. Means vector 2 column. So here it is just showing vector 1, vector 2. So see here, vector 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same one. Vector 2, dollar vector 2, so only this one. A, B, C, D, E. If I want to see this one, so simply I have to write here data 3 dollar sign and then vector 3. So with the help of dollar sign, I can see that particular column name now. Okay, that I can do that. Now suppose here certain more data frame I want to make it here, just like the employee data I want to make it here. So what I can do, I can make the employee data here. You can see, suppose here I am making the 3 column, and you can see how we are filling this 3 column now. Better it should be created here onto the text, this type of text file here. Okay, so that because if you're writing this much code here on, because this is a one code only, this is a lengthy code. If you're writing it here, maybe you will be trapping with error. So for writing such code directly, one can go to file and one can find out one of the file there, R script file. Okay, earlier I told you how to create the file. From here, one can click it here, new file, R script, one can just call it here. And if it is here, one can write this code entirely into this file and then only one has to run. Because otherwise one is writing here onto this workspace. So it could be quite tougher to understand. So how we are writing it now, you can see. I want to create a data frame employee data, and inside it, what are the variables? So I want to create, see, I want to create employee name, ID, employee ID, and employee salary. It means these three variables I want to create it here. Inside it, I want to create here 1, 2, 3 inside the employee name. So employee name, ID, and salary is the column name here that I want to give. Here inside IT, I have to give any name, suppose James, Harry, Jimmy. These are the people who are working, James, Harry, Jimmy, that I have to give it. And salary, you can just put any salary here. So in this way, I want to create the structure with the help of data frame. How? So this one is entirely, I'm just calling it as the employee data. Employee data. Entirely, the name is employee data of this data frame here. So how you are going to create it? Employee data, you have to create a data frame, and then one can see employee ID. Employee ID is what? This is employee ID. Employee ID is basically the column name here. And this one is the vector, which will give you the values of 1, 2, 3 here, right? And here, this one will be the employee name. It means you can see it here. Employee ID, if you are giving the employee ID, so employee ID will be getting 1, 2, 3 as the ID. Employee name, you can see you are creating the vector of James, Harry, and Jimmy, which will be automatically going to the employee name. And these are the salary details. So once you are giving all this value, you will be having the data frame here. And this is stored here into the employee data. So better to create this one here onto the file, better. Do not create it here onto the workspace because it is a lengthy line. So maybe you could be trapped with the error. So to avoid from any error, just to write it in this the same way. Just I'm clicking it here. Okay, and I'm running it here. Click onto the run button. It is created. See here, it is created. So actually why this plus sign is coming? Because it is having a multiple line. So it is having a multiple line here. So that's why automatically plus is embedded. Now I need the data to see that how it looks like is once I had created it here. So simply you have to write here only employee data you have to call the name of the data frame. Just run it here. See here employee ID, employee name and salary. 1, 2, 3 is the employee ID, name, and the salary is coming here. Okay. String employee ID also, I can see it here. See here how it is giving you. It is just coming in this way. Another format here. Now, I want to take out what? Employee name and employee salary only. Means from this data. I want to see only the employee name and salary, not all. Getting? So I can select, I need employee name and employee salary. I need the employee name and employee salary, only these two data. So I'm selecting these two just with the name of data frame, $column name. Again, data frame name, $column name here. Once it is done, then data.frame is there. I'm just passing all the value in the data frame here. Right, done. And here output is there. I'm storing this data here into the output, and you can see here, click here onto the run button. See here, it is just showing me employee name and employee salary. It is employee name and employee salary. It is not showing the employee ID. The reason being we had selected only these parts, only employee data, the name of the data frame, $sign and employee name. Only this one I had selected. Then employee data, salary, only these two. That's for name and salaries are appearing. Okay. And here, suppose I want to see it separately, dollar name and dollar salary here. So I can just write it here into this way. Just I'm writing it here, this one, and click here onto the run. See here, it is just giving you only the name. If I'm writing it here, employee salary here, click here onto the run. So here the salary it is there. Okay, that is there. Now suppose here I want to see it, and suppose here I'm just writing it here. Employee data. Suppose here I'm running, it is there. Now I suppose I want to see only 2 rows here. So what I can do, see here, I'm just running it here. So it is showing me 2 rows here. So basically whenever I want to see a limited data, because you can see 3 rows are there, row number 1, row number 2, row number 3. If 3 rows are there, I want to see only 2 rows here. So basically what is this doing here? This stands for the row, this stands for the column here. This one is basically range here. We are just specifying the range of column and the rows here. So what it is saying here that give me the rows 1 and 2 only. Okay, and you can see there's no column given here, nothing given here. So because we do not automatically take all the columns, but here I need the row number 1 and 2. So basically what it is showing you that whenever I need, means basically I'm looking here all these 3, but I need to see only this data. So here simply I can select it here. Here I have to give the number of rows, and here I have to give the number of columns. So this is the range functionality I have to put it here. Here I have to give, show me the range between row 1 and 2 only. Show me only these 2 rows. So only 1, 2, and columns automatically take all the columns, employee name, employee ID, and employee salary. So if you are giving it here, so it is just taking the row number 1 and 2, and it is showing you here row number 1 and row number 2. But all the columns also it is showing you. So it is just to select the particular rows only one can specify. Now here suppose I want to add, because right now employee ID, employee name and salary is there. I want to add the department also here. And that department could be having certain values such as IT, finance or operations. These values also I need it. So I can add it here. So one can see it here. I'm just creating a vector and assigning it to employee data $department. So one more column will be created automatically. So suppose here I'm running the same one here, employee data $department, and just assign all these values to it. Click here onto the run button, and here, just a moment. It is there, employee, just to run both of the things. See here, it is just having all these value here. This one, employee ID, employee name, salary, and the department as well. So department is also added. How? Just by writing this line, employee data $department, and these values are assigning to it. Okay. Or separately, if I want to make it so separately, I can work in this way. Directly, I can make it here. So here we are adding later on, but here directly we are giving it here. Okay, so this one is what? This one is the employee new data. So here means, see, this one is the employee data. Now we are creating an employee new data. So inside it, we are providing the ID, name, salary, and the department. Okay, so employee new data, we are creating it here now. So employee new data, entirely we are creating it here. Okay. And if we want to see what is the detail of employee new data, see here, I'm just selecting it here, click here onto the run. So employee new data is there. So one can see the values inside the employee new data. How? Employee ID is 1, 2, 3. Names are given, salaries are given, departments are given. Now come here into the new data. So here it is 6, 7, 8 is the ID, new employee name, salary, and the departments are given here. So here employee data is different and employee new data is different. So here 1 and 2, it means 2 different employee data are provided here, right? Now, what we can do, we can make the R bind operation, row bind, so that all the data could be 1. So here we are taking all the data with the row bind, employee data and the employee new data as well. So here I'm just clicking it onto the run. So see here, all the entire data has been done here. See here, all the data has been merged into one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See here, it is there. And the values are also there. It means we had merged with the help of R bind operation. You can see it here with the old employee data and employee new data as well into one, right? So in this way we can do it here. Now one can see inside the R studio here, certain data sets are there, certain predefined data sets are present here. Now suppose here there is one of the very popular data set, because the point is here, see here we are creating manually everything, all the data, this data, we are creating it manually, but when these values are high, so better we can have directly data sets which are already there into the R studio. So we can call that. So here there is an iris data set. Iris is basically a flower. Iris is basically a flower which has the petal and the sepal. So basically this data set is based on to the flower. Okay, flower is there. And correspondingly, these types of sepal and petals are there into the flower. So the data of the length and width of these flowers are collected here. So suppose here, petal length, this is the petal here, petal length, this is a PL here, and petal width here. This is the width of the petal. And here, suppose this one, I say sepal length, and this one is the sepal width here. So petal length, petal width, sepal length, sepal width, these all data are collected inside this iris flower data set. Iris is a very popular flower. Now this flower, iris flower is having three species. 3 kind of iris flower is there. So those species is, the 3 kind of species is Iris setosa. These are the name of the kind of flower. Iris versicolor, and Iris virginica. So basically virginica. So basically what are these? Iris is a flower which is having 3 species, Iris setosa, versicolor, and virginica. These are the name of type of flower. Okay, suppose rose is there. So rose is having like pink rose, or yellow rose, white rose. So there are kind of different colors. So similar way, iris flower is having a different species, Iris setosa, versicolor, and virginica. Okay, one can Google the iris flower as well. So inside this data set, here, this data set petal width, petal length, sepal width and sepal length has been taken. Of how many flowers? 150 flowers. There are suppose 150 flowers are there in certain garden, and they had just, there's one person who measured the length of petal width, petal length, sepal width, sepal length, and just make the database for that one. So this is regarding to that data set. Now here one can see, wait here. See, this one is a flower here. Okay, it is having many species here. It is a flowering plant and it is having many species. So these measurements are taken of this petal length, petal width, sepal length and sepal width. Okay, so these measurements have been taken of iris flower, right? So one has taken all the measurement of 150 flowers. 1, 2, 3. So it means 150 flowers measurement has been taken and stored into the database. Okay, so that one is there. So here the same one is there. So iris data set is there, which is having sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width as the 4 columns. 4 columns, and then species is one of the variable here. So here is iris flower, it is here. Sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. These are there. So the details are there. Okay, measurements are there. Now see the species name of iris flower, Iris setosa. Okay. If I move it here, see iris versicolor. Here, sorry, virginica it is. Just a moment. See this one, iris versicolor and iris virginica. Okay, so here I'm again rotating. Iris setosa, iris versicolor, iris virginica. So around 150 measurements are there. 150 measurements are there. Okay. So that one is there. Now suppose here I want to see a particular column name, because right now we are looking here all the data is here. Sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width species is there. So here suppose here I want to see only particular column name here, right? So what I will do it here, I'm just moving it here because I can write it here. Iris dollar. See here, sepal length if we want to see, just click it here, enter. It is showing you only sepal length. Suppose iris dollar petal length you want to see. So just click it here, petal length. So in this way, you can see the particular column name. Suppose here I'm writing iris dollar petal width, suppose. So it will be showing you the petal width detail. These are the all numeric details of petal width. And suppose here I want to see here iris dollar species. It is showing you the species name. Iris setosa, iris versicolor, iris virginica. All 3 types of species it is showing you. Of all 150 rows are there. So in this way, we can see the different column values or the variable values as well with the help of dollar sign here. Right? So in this way, we can just study about the data frames now. So these are very basic steps of the data frame now. So today we had covered the data frame now in R.